All right, what's up, guys? Today I'm gonna be recapping some of my plays. Not all these are from this week, or I guess I should say last week, because a lot of my watch list was actually pretty red. Right here, you can see a lot of my stuff was pretty red. I had pretty much a really red week, and plus I was also on vacation, so I didn't do a whole lot of trading. So I'm gonna show you two plays I took profits on last week, and then one of them's from like I think maybe a week or two ago. Doesn't matter. Just want to get out some content and kind of give you a lowdown of what I traded recently. First up, we're going to look at PRG. So this one's really straightforward. I actually just traded off a support and resistance level. Nothing else. I mean, of course, my indicators, but not a whole lot of charting going on here. Let's get in a closer look. I mean, you can see right here, I drew my support level right here, actually, just because it was kind of touching down this area. Of course, right here was more so of a support because of how frequently it bounced here. But I just looked for the hierarchy here, and I went for the support right here because we got a bounce there. And we also got pretty consistent bouncing here, here, and of course these levels right now. Then I had another support level just down here. This is a super minor one, or not minor, but it doesn't bounce as frequent. I just put that there just in case like it came down. I had an idea that it could reverse here because we had a bounce of it here, and then it actually did bounce pretty recently here. So kind of like a catch-all support level. And then for the resistance level, I drew up here. Makes a lot of sense, as you can see. We get a lot of bouncing right here. We had trouble breaking this right here, where it finally broke through and just took off. And then, of course, once it came back down in this little channel area, this was acting as a resistance. Of course, in this area, it did constantly break through it, and break through it. So you could argue there's support level perhaps right here, maybe. I'd say it's pretty strong. But just for what I was looking for, a small little move, I just didn't draw that, as I don't think it was able to recap that full move, right? Now, if we zoom in to see what we were looking for, you could see recently it came down to the support level, actually came down to this one, bounce, went up, came back down, and I was actually looking to capture it on, I was hoping to capture it on this support level here, because that would have resulted from this to the upper resistance, 8% perhaps. But instead I captured it right here on this bottom, on this middle support level, just because it started reversing. It came down, and then we got some reversing going on right here. You can see the MACD, the RSI started to turn up right here, so it didn't fully come on the way down, turned up, and immediately started taking off. So I think I entered probably like right about here. I think it was just at the support level when it started to reverse. Captured some of the move, hopped in when I saw the reversal, and then I hopped out when it started to get a little bit rocky. Made about 4% on this play, nothing crazy, but only took about 3 days. And of course, I definitely exited perhaps a little bit early, because I mean, right now there's only one red candle. Like, that's not the scariest thing. But looking back at this play, you can just see how choppy it is usually. I mean, there's like a lot of red on the way up. You get red, green, red, green, red, green. So it's pretty choppy going up. So I consider this a little bit rocky, a little unstable. So once I saw that red candle, I was like, you know what? I'm taking my profits. I'm happy. It's a pretty red week anyway, so I don't really want to risk too much. But yeah, entered right here, just off the support, rode up to near resistance, sold out about 4%. Indicators looked pretty healthy. The vortex indicator didn't actually look good at all. The MACD was decent, and the RSI was fine. So wasn't like the most obvious setup, I guess, but it still played out well. All right, next up we have ladder LADR. This one's a little bit kind of similar to the last one, just a support and resistance level. Although this one was much more volatile and choppy. I'm actually surprised I even caught this move. We have a pretty obvious support level here. We get the touching here, some touching here, and then right here, it honestly just comes unnoticeable. Like, the support level doesn't make a whole lot of sense from recent price action, but there's obviously strong right there. See how it's bouncing like crazy right there? And then everything else that was a little bit like, sure, bounced here a little bit. You could say it bounced here. But other than that, you could draw like probably 3 support or 3 price levels right here. It was pretty crazy, but I just had a feeling it would come down to this. So I had this already drawn from a previous time playing it. So I was just kind of watching it, and luckily it actually did come right down into that area I was talking about. Oops. Luckily, it did come right down to the area I was talking about, and I was able to just sell it for a good profit, as you can see. So right here, it broke through that support level, which isn't good, but it breaks through almost every single time. So it's just kind of hoping it would somewhat rest near the support level, which did exactly that. I mean, it went up, came back down, and it barely went below the support level. I mean, it was below it by like 1%, so it held really well here. I was actually pretty surprised. Luckily, I had it on my radar, and I think I got in right here, like 11, 16, 15-ish. I don't know. I could check right now, but I think it's something like this. So I was really risking 0.5%. I mean, we'll say I was risking 1%. Rode it up to this red candle again. Made about, what was it, 4%. Again, nothing crazy at all. Like, it was a very, very small gain, right? Very small play. But the point is, I was risking like 0.5%. I made 3%. Very solid, very simple. Again, similar to the last play, indicators weren't really that special, right? I mean, the RSI was nothing special. MACD barely curled. It really just looks like it's breaking through. Vortex indicator actually looked like the opposite of stuff I wanted. It was totally weird. Indicators were whacked. But that's because it kind of bounced way earlier than I thought it would. But once again, I basically risked nothing to get 3.5%. Super solid. Can't complain there. All right, here we have MG. This was a pretty good one. I was pretty happy with this one. We had a little bit of a descending kind of like channel here, like descending trend line. You can see I drew this the resistance trend line here, and then the support trend line here. Pretty solid. I mean, it bounced every single time. Look at that. The support trend line is insane. The resistance trend line is also really helpful too. I mean, it seems to bounce or reverse every time it hits this as well, so perfect. And then I also did draw a support level. It just seemed to make sense here. I mean, take a look. This got pretty close. This bounced. This kind of hugged that area. This kind of hung in the area. This kind of hung in the area. And then, of course, right here, it was just totally below it. But I do always draw the support level, or at least try to, just to kind of help me mentally trade. And then what I did here is kind of looking at the price action history. You can see a lot of the times the RSI is super low, and the MACD is a little bit harder to read on this one. By that I just mean it's a little bit more choppy. Like it's not like hills, you know what I mean? It's not super hills all the way around. It's just kind of up, down, up, down, up, down, kind of chopping around the signal line. But essentially, you know, once it hit my support level, I was keeping an eye on it. I think I actually had an alert set like right here at 925. That way I knew it was going to be somewhat in value. And of course, I had that trend line, and the trend line is obviously much stronger than the support level. So I was looking to enter somewhat near this the trend lines. That's why I drew this loading zone right here. This yellow box right here, this yellow rectangle is my loading zone. So I was loading in somewhere about 2% in all if I were to enter the top, risking 3% almost, but I didn't. I actually entered right here at this green candle, which is super solid because it was kind of hit this trend line. It bounced really well, but you see it was kind of hanging right here. It was consolidating. I mean, yeah, it went up, then it went up, then it went down, up, down, up, down. It was just kind of moving all over the place. And then eventually I took a position right here, about 9:15, I think it was, because we saw a green candle form. It perfectly bounced off of it. I mean, look at the indicators. The RSI was pretty low. It was like 34, 35 at the time. The MACD was just curling up and crossing the signal line. And then, of course, the vortex indicator looked healthy, so I took an entry here. Wrote it up to probably, it was about right here, for about 11%. Of course, this red candle scared me pretty badly because that was a quick 3.5% drop. But if you look at the price action history, it's typically pretty choppy going up. You can see like right here, up, down, up. So I kind of figured that would happen. You know, the red candle was a little bit scary, but I was like, you know what? In the past, it's done this before, so I'll just stick with it. Stuck with the trading plan. Ended up selling out right at this red candle because it was nearing the support or the resistance trend line up here. So I was like, you know what? I'll take 11, 10%. Yeah, this was probably my best trade in the past week or so, just because of how the market's been. Like I said, none of these plays are anything crazy. I mean, usually I'm just looking to risk something super minimal to get a good return, right? 3 to 1, 4 to 1 returns, compound that, and just keep seeing green profits. That's all.